Hello, this is Paula from the Knitting Pipeline podcast. I am going to show you how to do the Russian bind off in pattern. I have to hold this out a ways so it's in focus. I found that out the hard way. This is the shawl I'm working on. It is the And So Are You shawl by Rose Beck, and I'm ready to bind off. I've already done some in this pleated border, and it says to bind off in pattern, but it doesn't specify which bind off to use. I like the Russian bind off because it's nice and stretchy. So there are two ways, or two versions, the knit and the purl version, and I'm going to switch back and forth between the knit and the purl to accommodate these stitches. I have an accompanying video that shows the knit version of the Russian bind off, which is what I'm going to do first here for these 5 knit stitches. I'll put this stitch back on the needle, back on the left needle, and then knit into the back of these 2 stitches. And then you slide it off and then replace it back onto the left needle. And then put your right needle tip into the back, knit those 2 together, replace. Knit into the back, replace. You can see here there's a little bit of a shortcut. After you've done a couple hundred of these, you've figured out that you don't really need to take your needle all the way out to get it back in there. Okay, I've done the knits and I'm ready to do a purl version. For the purl version, as you might guess, you put the yarn in front, put the stitch back on the needle, and then purl the stitches together. Oops, lost it there. Purl the stitches together and slide it off. Replace with yarn in front, purl together, slide it off. Replace with yarn in front, purl together, oops, purl together and slide it off. Replace with yarn in front, purl together and slide it off. The way, or the reason I like the Russian bind off is that it's nice and stretchy, and you don't have to break the yarn to do it as you would with the sewn bind off, because this border is so long. I wouldn't want to do a sewn bind off because I wouldn't be able to break off enough yarn to complete the bind off. Okay, now I've just finished the 7 purl stitches, and by the way, I had to cut this border short because I didn't have enough to finish the complete, so this is not the normal stitch count you would have at the end. Now I'm ready to do the knit again. I'll do 1 or 2 more of the knits, yarn in back, purl and, knit into the back of the stitch, replace. You need a lot of yarn to bind off a ruffle or a pleat, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, I don't have enough. I only have this much, so I'm going to have to take this last row out, which will take a while, but this is what it looks like on the other side, and you can see it's nice and stretchy. This will probably be discussed in episode 47 of the Knitting Pipeline podcast when I discuss my shawl, And So Are You, by Rose Beck from the Be Mine collection. So I hope you join us.